I think it is probably the most significant treaty in translating an environmental change phenomenon into a transformative set of signals into our economies, because the solution to our environmental problems are not in the atmosphere or the biosphere alone, they actually lie in the economic policies. And out of Paris, I believe we will see a signal that is unprecedented in terms of transforming our economies over the next 30 to 50 years. An energy revolution has already begun, Paris will accelerate it, and I think we will see a transition in our energy systems, in the technologies we use, the business models that I think will take many by surprise. So in that sense, yes, it is an amazing response in environmental terms, but bridging it actually into the economy, into our societies, into literally decisions you and I take every day.
And you are the UN Environment Programme, but you also commission many reports, particularly related to sustainable finance. So following on from that, I mean, is this when you walk around and speak to people, it seems almost as if this is an economic summit, in as much as it is about the environment as well?
Well, it just confirms what I have tried to say for many years, that environmental policy is economic policy, it is international security. You see, environment is not only something that we worry about in terms of locality, the fundamental support systems on our planet will either enable us to develop or will compromise development. In the climate convention we call it mitigation adaptation. It could be life support systems, it could be ecological sustainability. But the issue of finance is obviously central, because everything we are discussing in the context of this convention, what then needs to happen is premised upon being able to mobilize the finance. And it is not just public finance. That may be 1/5 or 1/4 of the total volume. The rest will have to come from the private sector, from the financial and capital markets. And this is what is so critical at this stage, and why UNEP has also commissioned this inquiry report where we looked at what is the role of financial and capital markets, how can they be incentivized. And almost overnight the issue of green finance has moved into the center stage of some of the economic fora. The G20 under China's presidency has established a study group on green finance now. The G7 is looking at it, the BRICS countries. This is, I think, the realization that we are now entering into an era of major transformation, in which mobilization of finance is going to be the accelerator, and we have to rethink the incentivizing of our economies to make that happen.
And in terms of acceleration, one of the key mechanisms that's being talked about here is this idea of regular reviews. How important do you feel it is going to be to have these regular reviews, perhaps starting before 2020, perhaps starting afterwards, to really keep your foot on the pedal?
Well, let me put it very bluntly. A Paris Agreement without a review mechanism would lack a great deal of credibility, because the UNEP emissions gap report clearly showed that what we are currently drawing on, which is very significant in terms of these national climate change strategies, the INDCs, will only take us part of the way to ensure an outcome that keeps us below 2 degrees. So Paris can be an accelerator, it can be a very significant signal, but only if it has built within it the opportunity to further raise ambitions. And that's why the review mechanism is critical. It's fundamental to the ability of this outcome in Paris not being seen as falling short of keeping that hope alive of a 2-degree trajectory. Thank you.